Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south that want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, you good old boys in Canada. You know we love you in Africa, the Big C tribe, but there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave on the beautiful November 14th, 2018. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, I've been running the trifecta down here all week. It's been economical, clean, and efficient. It's been raining here every day of the week, so I've been saving money by going outside taking showers in the front yard.
Again?
I know I've had a couple of neighbors that's been appalled because, I take a shower when my birthday suit. And so I'm telling them, I'm on private property.
Yep.
I'm lathering up everything that they don't want to see.
Yeah.
But if they didn't want to see, why they looking?
That is so true, Big C. You do know that Woodstock ended about 40 years ago, Big C. But I understand you had a great time. I want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. I got to get your thoughts on something. We all talk about it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to have a nice knit community. And people are saying help your neighbor, and help your neighbor is a good thing. So why do people have a problem when you get in your neighbor's shower, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, I've been avoiding that so all week. I was able to stop at the fence line and stuff and avoid the baby shower. I think one of the things that bothered them is that I went in there when they weren't home.
Okay.
And they were trying to figure out how I got in the house.
Yeah, that's
But
funny.
with all this rain, I didn't have to worry about running up my own water bill, Charlton,
Yep.
so I just did it in the yard.
I understand. It's a lot of ways to what they call microeconomics and all that stuff. It's the little things that got Big C, little things. I do know, again, I want to just say to all the people in California that are so resilient and have lost a lot, but things can be rebuilt. Unfortunately, there's been some loss of life and even loss of wildlife, and I know a lot of people they're just going through a lot. And I hear all over Northern California where even shows that say, we're a sports show, we're not going to talk about anything but sports, they're taking calls from people who've been burned out because maybe they have grown a brain. And then maybe they have realized that when people are losing their properties and loved ones, that there's more important things than if Draymond Green and Durant are going to have a fist fight or just an argument. And it's good to see. Sometimes it takes a while, Big C, but I'm proud. I don't know if I'm proud of maybe just have apathy for some of our sports guys who realize they can be more than just knuckleheads reading scores. Now they're showing compassion, talking to people who've lost everything. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I mean, to be devoid of understanding what people are going through in their lives, especially in California, Charlton, with all this devastating loss of property and life over the past week, and to just concentrate just on a sport. I mean, we understand that sports is a relief, Charlton, but, teammates don't get along anywhere.
Right.
I mean, you look at every professional organization there is, Charlton, hockey, basketball, baseball, football, soccer.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, Charlton. There's always been infighting amongst people within the organization, Charlton. We've seen it on television with baseball players and managers getting into it in the dugout over the decades, Charlton.
Yeah.
People charging field. You think about baseball players getting into these teams and these bench-clearing brawls all the time. We've seen it in football just this past weekend in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We saw with the Rams and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Getting into it. Aaron Donald wanted to come out of the locker room and fight one of the Seahawks players,
Yeah.
Charlton. But, teammates always have inner strife.
Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe had it in Los Angeles, Charlton. And many other professional teams over the years. I've been on teams where we've had teammates that have been combating with each other.
Yeah.
But to think that that's the most important part about a sports story, it's not, Charlton. You have to be able to tell the inside tangibles of the game.
Yeah.
That's what fans tune in for, Charlton. Give me some insight on the game.
Yeah.
It's like watching a football game on television. You can sit there and listen to Tony Romo, which was good.
Yep. I think Putin's trying to chime in again, Big C. We're going to see if we can get that worked out in just a second. Okay, I think we got our phone lines. Big C, Putin's trying to chime in. Doesn't he know that streaming is free, Big C? He's always trying to. This is not the United States election, Putin. Big C, go right ahead, Big C, Tony Romo.
Well, it's like watching an NFL game and you got Tony Romo and Jim Nantz doing the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great insight from Tony Romo last year to explain what plays were prior to the play happening.
Yeah.
But we saw all that already. Now is your time to become an analyst. Explain to me what I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
The play is going to happen. Explain to me why the play happened that way. What the quarterback saw to make him go into that scenario.
Yeah.
What the defense saw to allow them to stop the play. This is what, you get to the point where you become repetitive just saying one thing. You already have the play-by-play guy for that.
Yeah.
And that's what we have now when we have all the announcers. It's like it's either Draymond Green or it's Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell has been a story all year long and hasn't strapped on one shoulder pad.
No.
But he's been the biggest story in the NFL all year long, even beyond the great play of some teams and individual players, Charlton.
Yeah.
And even with him deciding not to play, showing that he has the power as an individual to decide that he doesn't want to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But it hurt the broadcasters, Charlton, by him not showing up.
Yeah.
It hurt them more than it hurt Le'Veon. Le'Veon said, I can afford to pass on $14 million.
Yeah.
Everybody can't.
Yep.
But I have that much confidence in myself and in my ability and my financial planning that I've done before to get to this point in life, Charles.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Draymond Green. It's like a soap opera right here. Sometimes I drop my kid off at school and I hear these teenagers and they're talking about, do you think he likes her more? Does he like me more? And, oh man, do you think she likes me more or likes me more? You hear teenagers get into that, the tabloid TV, as if they've never seen a fight. And I got to bring this up too, because, maybe it's a cultural thing, but white guys fight all the time. I mean, we had a civil war. People were fighting each other, same ethnic group. And I've seen Billy Martin in the dugout back in the day, and he would have his own fights, whether it was Steinbrenner or athletes doing it all the time. It's not a fight. I remember not long ago just seeing at a gym, there were some guys talking. You play pickup basketball, and some guys take it too serious as if they think they're in the NBA. And one guy said, man, I'm tired of you calling all these fouls on me. And the guy said, man, it wasn't a foul. You're lying. He said, oh, hold on. And Big C, this guy took his shirt off. He took his shoes off. He even took his socks off. And he was, man, I'm going to blankety blank, and I'm going to kick you blankety blank, and you're a blankety blank blank. Man, he walked up to this. It took him about 30 seconds to get undressed. He walked up to this guy that knows martial arts. It was one punch, and he was laying on the ground. The tough guy was on the ground. He got knocked out. These NBA players don't want to fight. They're just blowing wolf tickets. Why would you fight someone if you're not a real fighter and you're making $25 million a year because you got good hands? You crack a knuckle, break a wrist, Big C, you're out for the season, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, if I'm a graphic designer, if I'm a computer programmer, would I take my laptop outside, put it under the wheel of my car, and run it over?
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean, let's equate it.
Yeah.
That's how I'm earning my living.
Yeah.
If I'm a mixed DJ, and now DJs don't carry records around.
No.
They put everything on programs on their laptop.
Yeah.
Am I going to take it outside and run it over with my car?
Hopefully not.
Am I going to bust it with a sledgehammer?
Right.
Let's be realistic. What does an NBA player utilize the most, Charlton?
Their hand.
It's his hand.
Yeah.
Can he handle the basketball? Can he dribble the basketball?
Yeah.
Can he shoot the basketball? I mean, his legs are secondary, but without hands, Charlton, without being able to deal with the rock,
Yeah.
he's without a job.
Yeah.
And we've seen some NBA players over the decades injure their hand. They no longer are working, Charlton.
No more working,
you're
yeah.
on IR, and because you self-inflicted it, Charlton,
Yeah.
in an incident like that, you can be suspended without pay.
Yep. Yep.
You're on that non-performance list. and so you're turning down all this money because you get into a disagreement. I mean,
Yeah.
verbal spats
All the time.
happen all the time.
Yeah.
You think about it in relationships. How many relationships get into verbal spats where wives and husbands
Yeah.
don't get along? They raise their voice, they say something that the other one doesn't appreciate,
Yeah.
and they walk away.
Yep.
But you come back to an hour later, the next day, whatever, Charlton, you're still in the same domain.
Yeah.
You still have the same purpose to accomplish.
Yep.
You still have the same goals in life.
Yep.
So relationships are like athletics teams. And so when you look at this tiff with Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, This was about being competitive.
Yeah.
This wasn't about losing.
Yeah.
Even though they lost the game, it was about putting yourself in the best competitive advantage that you had as an organization.
Yeah.
Draymond had the thought. I mean, you look at J.R. Smith last year with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Look how long that lasted in the media.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers had to go out and play a game the next night against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Trying to get back on track.
Yep.
The media is still riding the J.R. Smith incident last year when he got the rebound and dribbled out instead of going right back to the basket.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron was upset. Everybody else was upset on the team, but they let it go because they knew that they still had more games to play.
Yeah.
You look at the Warriors. I think the Warriors right now are 10-2, Charles.
Yeah, the 10-3 actually.
I think they have another 70 games left to play.
Yeah.
Neither one of those players are going to be traded. And they both need each other, Charleston, to get to their ultimate goal, to be in the NBA Finals once again.
Yeah.
This will blow over just like the weather, just like the fires in California. It will blow over. It left a little, uneasiness there within the organization, Charleston.
Yeah.
But that uneasiness only lasts as long as the media keeps running with it.
Yeah.
Those players, they were back at practice the next day together, Charleston. They'll be back at the next game together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What is the media trying to prove?
Yeah, I think and I always go here because of what I know, and I see some of our African American brethren that show more concern over what it really meant. What's the message about two guys having a verbal disagreement? They said nothing when 53,000 votes were being obstructed. It's like their mind is in the wrong place. And I know some people say, well, mainstream needs to do it too. Mainstream's comfortable. They're not having their vote obstructed. I'm saying I see our black brethren on TV that are arguing and yelling over whether this was a fight. What's it really mean? What's it really mean to the organization? Are they falling apart? They said nothing about 53,000 votes being obstructed. That, to me, is misguided intelligence. And that's a sad thing that sometimes so many of our people don't pay attention.
Were those black players who were talking to each other, were they saying anything anti-Semitic?
No.
Were they talking about any other ethnic group, Charlton?
No.
Were they talking about inflicting violence on society, Charlton? Were they acting like... Think about this. If those are two disgruntled white men going at each other, what's the next thing going to happen? They're going to go out and commit a mass shooting. Think about that. If you want to equate that to what goes on in society, when you get a disgruntled white man who is disenchanted by others, he goes out and commits a mass shooting, but he has a mental illness. These black athletes, Charlton, had a disagreement on opinion and what occurred in a game, and it was over with.
Yeah.
The media is still talking about it. We don't hear anything about it unless the media... I haven't seen Draymond Green or Kevin Durant say, I need to hold a press conference to discuss what happened at the end of the game.
Well, I will say that I heard some people talking just the other day about why Jordan really went to go play baseball after winning the third championship for the Chicago Bulls. And a lot of people don't understand what happened, but people who know. And they were saying why he really retired for a year to go play baseball, right? Everybody knows. Well, Draymond's from that same neck of the woods as far as when he played at Michigan State. And I know there was a time last year when there's a point spread total, and he ended up calling a foul to... Long story short, there's all kind of things that go on. And when you get the shooter on your team and you don't give him the ball, when the guy can knock it down from almost any place, there's a lot of things that go on that people got to make their money somehow. Big C, I know it may not be popular to say, but that make any sense to you?
Well, you think about the coach in this situation, Steve Kerr, Charlton.
Yeah.
When he was a player with the Chicago Bulls, he and Jordan got into it in practice.
All the time.
Okay? They had a fist fight in practice.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr fought Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So, this happens with teammates. Shaq slapped Kobe when they were with the Lakers.
Did he slap him with an overhand or a closed fist, Big C?
When you think about these things, Charlton, these incidents have gone on for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts in high school where teammates get into it because somebody's put a hard foul on somebody and somebody gets up and shoves back and names are being called.
Yep.
I was having a conversation with my daughter the other day.
Yeah.
And she was asking me, what was it like playing?
Yeah.
And I said, I still feel bad about some of the things I said to people.
Yeah.
I honestly do.
Yeah.
I said some things that were terrible.
Yeah.
I said things that had officials wanting to throw flags on me. But I also said these same things to my teammates, Charlton, in practice and in the locker room.
Yeah.
But, you do things to motivate, to encourage, it's different when you're an athlete. It's like a family member. You can say things to a family member
Yeah.
that you can't say to somebody on the street.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to go out and say that you threaten them.
Right.
You know, they're going to be trying to file suit against you.
Yep.
But what you do within the family stays within the family.
Yeah.
It's like going to Vegas. What goes on in Vegas comes back home with you in Vegas. You know, it's like luggage.
Hold on. I think you got to recorrect. You said what goes on in Vegas comes back home, or does it stay? Which one is it, Big C?
You know, it all depends on who it is, Joe. It all depends on who. A lot of people end up in Vegas and come back home got a wife and they didn't know anything about it. Okay?
That's funny. One time I heard some friends went down to Vegas and they had a good time, and they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But about 10 years later, the guy was ordering some pizza, and little boy pulled up and said, "Dad?" So, long story short, not everything stays in Vegas. I do know. Last thing I'll say about this, and I wanna side with Draymond, and I also wanna side with KD. It's not their fault. All they've done is, the Coliseum is next door to Oracle Arena. They happen to go by a Raider game, and they watched how John Gruden speaks on the sideline for 60 minutes, and they were trying to be just like John Gruden because he got $100 million from talking that way, Big C. Maybe it won't happen for the black guys, though, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you think about it. If this were to occur with Raider players or even the Raider coach,
yep.
Well, what would the media outlook be on? Well, they're frustrated. Because things haven't gone.
It has happened with the Raiders. You never heard about it, though.
I know, but I'm just saying that's how the media is going to spend it.
Yeah.
That they're frustrated because things haven't gone the way that they panned out.
And the two black guys.
And the Raiders things are going the way that they expected.
Yeah.
They expected for them to pilfer the program.
Yeah.
From a coaching perspective, it's done that. And when you do that, you end up as a loser.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you have, and I'm just big in it real, I think that's oftentimes a lot of Caucasian mainstream program directors, and what they'll call a black argument is a fight. Well, a fight is what you see guys do in the boxing ring or in the octagon. That's what a fight is. If these guys are really tough, don't slap your teammate, just sign up for the octagon. Go fight some MMA guys. It'll last about 15 seconds, and you can really prove how tough you are. It's just a lot of wolf tickets. Big C, I do want to get on something that might be a good or bad decision, and we'll know about it tonight when we look at Jimmy Butler. He debuts tonight with the Philadelphia 76ers versus Orlando. Will he be embraced by the city of brotherly love? Remember, he left Minnesota because he felt like they were not trying hard enough, but he's the one who set out games. I want to get your thoughts on that, Big C.
Well, Charlton, I think that Jimmy Butler will mesh with the 76ers.
Yeah.
This is a young team that needs direction, Charlton. You got a lot of individuals on the team that want to be the leader.
Yeah.
But you need a stabilizing force when you have a professional organization, all young teams. You look at the Lakers, young team, no direction.
Yeah.
They bring in some veterans, Charlton. All of a sudden now they got their first winning record in 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad move. And so when you're looking to make a team better, Charlton, you're bringing a guy. Jimmy Butler's been an all-star.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is a professional. He's not going out to do anything detrimental to Jimmy Butler.
He wants to win.
The thing about the 76ers, they've been a good team. But can they become a better team with him, Charlton? Can he motivate them enough to say, hey, guys, this is how it's done professionally every night?
Yeah.
Been in the league a couple of years, yes. But that's all you've been in the league a couple of years. You don't have any accomplishments.
Yeah.
But this is what you got to do to get to the next level. This is the reason why you bring in a Jimmy Butler, Charlton, because you need a motivator.
Yeah.
A motivator who can play. And you look at teams over the past several years. Every time the Golden State Warriors bring somebody in, Charlton,
Yeah.
they don't bring anybody in worse than what they have. They bring in veteran players who are better than what they had, Charlton.
Yeah.
When Kevin Durant was brought there, he was brought to help. You look at what Popovich has done over the years in San Antonio. He brought in veteran players that could help.
Yeah.
You look at the NBA players, Charlton, that forced the trades over the past couple of years. And they've been dominant. Chris Paul, Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Jimmy Butler. All of those players, Charlton, have helped improve the organizations that they've gone to.
Yeah.
They've all made the playoffs. That's what Jimmy Butler was brought in to do. When you look at what those other four players had done, Charlton, prior to him, demanding a trade from the organization that they were with
Yeah.
to help another organization become better, this is the power that NBA players have, Charlton.
Yep.
If you don't want to be around a situation where you see it going nowhere, you can demand to move on.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing. He's very talented. Many people in Minnesota felt that he gave up on also a talented team. Maybe they didn't have the work ethic that he had, but if all is said and done, I think his mentality reminds me more of a Kobe, because nobody really liked Kobe Bryant because he outworked everybody. And because he outworked everybody, people thought, well, maybe Kobe's uppity or he's too standoffish. Kobe was just about Kobe getting better as an athlete, as a player, and he was even more dedicated than Shaq. If Shaq, in truth be known, and everybody has their opinion, if Shaq had the same mentality, the work mentality that Kobe Bryant had back in the day, Shaq would have been thinner and he would have been a more dominant player than what he was. I know people might argue that, but there's a reason the Lakers kept Kobe and sent Shaq on, even though Shaq may have been a more imposing and dominant player at the time. They could say Kobe was younger, but I think they saw in Kobe what we all saw. He's going to work himself into a championship form, and they both went on to win titles without each other. Big C, that make any sense?
Well, Charlton, everybody has a different work ethic, but when you look at the big men in the NBA, they have less time in their career than what smaller players do.
Yeah.
When you look at the attrition on the large body, Charlton, running up and down the floor,
yeah,
and people can criticize Shaq for not having a certain work ethic.
Kobe did. Kobe hated him for that.
Dominate, Charlton.
Yeah.
That was the thing that Shaq had. He had an ethic to dominate, and he did that when it was called upon.
Yeah.
Shaq was motivated to do what Shaq wanted to do. When he moved around the NBA, yes, it put a tarnishment on the end of his career.
Yeah.
But when the Diesel wanted to play, he was as dominant as it could be. And you can appreciate where Kobe was as far as with his conditioning and work ethic, Charlton.
Yeah.
But also, Kobe caused players to be less than what they were or could be because they were with him.
Yeah.
Kobe demanded so much. And this is what we've talked about with great players becoming coaches, is that they can't coach because they only see the game from their perspective.
Yeah.
They don't know how to see it from the overall perspective, whether it's football or basketball, Charlton. They play at such a high level is that they can't judge talent.
Yeah.
They criticize it. We see that a lot with Aaron Rodgers, always yelling and criticizing players.
Yeah.
Because he expects them to all be at his level.
Yeah.
Well, pay them all at his level if it comes down to that.
Yeah.
When you look at the NBA, the latter part of Kobe's career, nobody wanted to play with Kobe.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the Lakers are in the situation that they were. They could not woo an all-star, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because people say, like, I don't want to be with Kobe. Whether it's through reputation or just what they witnessed, Charlton.
Yep.
There's a reason for organizations to fall down. You haven't heard that with the Warriors, that nobody didn't want to be there, Charlton. Even as the way Michael Westbrook is, Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City, there's still players that want to play with him.
Yeah.
James Harden in Houston, there's still players that want to play with him. But Kobe couldn't get another all-star in his last 3 or 4 years with the Lakers to come there.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on something because you brought it up to me. I just want to get your feeling on it again. Again, when people watch programs, you and I don't tell you what to say. You don't tell me what to say. We all have our own opinions, and that's what makes life wonderful. But many of these program directors, if black men are arguing, they call it a fight. If my white men are arguing, they don't call it a fight. I listen very intently. They say a disagreement. Because if they call it a fight, they would have to say John Gruden's having fights with Derek Carr on the sideline of the Coliseum. He's always cussing him out. Always. It's never called a fight. It's called, well, he's chewing them out or it's a disagreement. Look at Nick Saban, how he belittles his own players down in Alabama. They don't say, well, Nick had a fight on the sideline with one of his players. They say Nick was doing some chewing.
Discussion is what they're doing.
Have you noticed that?
What a white coach is doing is a heated discussion.
Yeah. So, and I mean that too. I want people to pay attention to that. Is how people are perceived. Again, black boys are 10 times more likely than white boys to be expelled from school by white teachers. That is a fact. So when Green Bay Packers wide receiver Ty Montgomery was released and blamed in the loss to the Rams when he returned the kick out of the end zone, well, on the sideline, he was being chewed out by Aaron Rodgers. It was called being chewed out. If they were both black men, it'd be called they had a fight on the sidelines. He was just chewed it up, but he lost his job over it. Jordy Nelson no longer playing with the Packers. He's with the Raiders now because they also said he couldn't get open. They wanted him to take less money, and he was not going to be Rodgers' favorite guy anymore, Big C. But none of that was called a fight. Does that make any sense, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's how the portrayal is. You always have to create one side as being a villain, and it's a black and white issue when it comes down to that.
Yeah.
You know, you see Cam Newton, he's not yelling at his receivers. Russell Wilson is not yelling at his receivers. Deshaun Watson is not yelling at his receivers. I mean, you can go on about all the minority quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, does Dak Prescott yell because the Dallas Cowboy receivers can't get open? No, he's blamed by the white media for not being able to throw them open.
Yeah.
But they can't get separation. And that design of the offense comes from the offensive coordinator and the head coach, Charles.
Well,
it's looked at differently depending on who's trying to deliver the package.
That's a very good point. And again, Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, they have the same record. They have the same record. Last year, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, but now they have Carson Wentz back at the helm, and they're under 500. No criticism on Carson Wentz. Dak Prescott, same record. They're always criticizing him. But you got to look at who's giving the message. Who's blowing that dog whistle? It's a white-owned media. I got to stand up because a lot of black men won't stand up and say that. NBA basketball, Portland Trailblazers at the LA Lakers tonight. That's the biggest game on the West Coast. Golden State is at Houston, last year's Western Conference champion. What a difference a year makes. Last year, Golden State and Houston, they were trying to compete to see who would win the West and most likely the NBA Finals and who would have a chance to take on LeBron James. Now LeBron James comes west, and the Lakers really are the surprise team, at least in the top 8 teams on the West in the Western Conference. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, when you look at that Houston and Golden State game, Jonathan, Houston is one game under 500 at this point in the season.
Yeah.
They were 25-5 in the first 30 games last year. 25-5.
Yep.
Now they're 6-7. They're 6-7, so there's no way they're going to equal the record that they had last year, and they're still struggling.
Yep.
I mean, they've won 2 consecutive games, Charlton, and the Warriors are on a 1-game losing streak.
Yeah.
But this is the dynamics from last season, Charlton, when you keep a team intact versus losing a player.
Yeah.
You know, the Warriors will not have Curry in this game, Charlton, but it's going to be very interesting. You look at the Lakers, Charlton, they won 3 consecutive games.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's on the upswing right now. They've made some veteran moves.
Yep.
These veteran moves are now starting to pay off, Charlton, with the addition of Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron James is not going out there trying to dominate a basketball game. He's not going to say, I got to put in 30.
Yeah.
He's asking everybody to pitch in. You know, he will do what he has to do as the season goes on, but he knows how to pace himself, Charlton, right now because he's 15 years in the league. That's a lot of miles.
Yep.
8 consecutive finals, rather. That's a lot of miles that he has dealt with. So LeBron James is pacing himself right now. If the rest of the Lakers can keep the momentum going, Charlton, get this team to 48 to 50 wins, he'll take over when it comes playoff time.
I want to bring up another thought you mentioned. It's about players that fight. You know, football players fight all the time, especially their teammates. They really have
been to practice or training camp.
Exactly.
Go to training camp. If you ever want to see a fight,
all the time.
You know, and you don't have to worry about an MMA event. Go to training camp. All these networks, Charlton, that have shown this disagreement, because this hasn't been a fight.
Yeah.
This was a disagreement between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Pull up all that footage, and all the broadcast networks have footage, Charlton, of training camp. There's a fight or 2 every day in training camp. I mean, players grabbing face masks, pulling helmets, going to the ground. Those are fights.
Yeah.
But those are teammates, Charlton.
They're teammates.
I had a teammate one time get cut because he wanted to fight everybody. Every day he had a fight.
Yeah.
For 4 days he had a fight every day. The 5th day, Charlton, he didn't come to practice. He had to go.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, because athletes know this happens. If you see a fight at a sporting event, especially basketball, is so rare. If you go to see any fight, they fight in the locker room or they'll fight in practice, but rarely in the game. There's too much money on the line. I do want to bring up something that is so important when it comes to leadership. And no matter who goes where, you talked about Paul and Irvin and George and Leonard and Butler. LeBron James broke up the fight when LA had the fight with Houston. Talk about his maturity, and that was something he broke up. That's because he knows that could have led to something worse. That's leadership, Big C. These guys are about winning. If you love someone, you're going to argue. What husband and wife doesn't argue? What boyfriend and girlfriend doesn't argue? Girlfriends argue with their girlfriends. Men argue with each other. No one's throwing fisticuffs, Big C. Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, if you got kids and they're close in age, there's a fight every day in the house. Okay?
Yep.
Over everything. I mean, and especially if you got a little girl and you got a boy.
Yep.
She's always yelling at him for leaving the toilet seat up. Okay? A lot of wives do that to husbands also. Leaving. That's the worst thing. That's the first fight that you'll have in your house.
Yeah,
the toilet seat up, you got a woman in there.
And why
it's
do
all over.
And why do women leave the toilet seat up anyway? That makes it hard for the man. Don't they know that yet, Big C, your thoughts?
You could be in bed, somebody going in the middle of the night, you'll get woken up. Why you leave the toilet seat up? What's so hard about putting it down? I never understood that. Life is about disagreements. I mean, we just had a midterm election.
Yeah.
Half the nation disagreeing with the other half of the nation, Jonathan.
Yeah.
But in the end, they're still in the same relationship because they're in the same country.
Yeah.
Life is about disagreeing. I mean, if everybody agreed to agree on everything all the time, we would have perfection.
Yeah.
Society in the world is not based on perfection, Jonathan.
Yeah.
It's based on challenges.
Yep. It's all perception. I remember when Kellyanne Conway had her foot on the furniture at the White House when the First Lady was out of town. But the First Lady got mad at the National Defense Advisor, and she lost the job. She didn't have her shoes on POTUS's sofa, Big C. It was Kellyanne Conway. How come she still got a job, Big C?
Well, Charlton, you got to point your blame at somebody. So you point your blame at your national security advisor. She's there for your protection.
Yeah.
I guess she might have caught her doing something that she wasn't supposed to do.
She wasn't protected enough.
Okay. So she can't work in the administration anymore. She's telling my business.
Yeah. It's as if she's the one who wrote the $130,000 check. That wasn't her. That's somebody else. I want to say sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation of this billion-dollar industry for every athletic and sporting event. You need athletic and event insurance. We work with Benemark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer league. When you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you. Big C, what do you do when you are out of town and your spouse got somebody on and he got his shoes up on your sofa, Big C, when you come home 2 days early? Your thoughts?
I mean, if you wear a shoe in my house, you have a problem, okay?
Yeah.
So we're not even worried about it moving to the sofa. You can't get to the front door out of the foyer with it.
Yeah, I think that's funny, Big C. I want to finish the thoughts on just one thing you talked about with Chris Paul making that exchange from the Clippers over to Houston. It worked last year. This year Houston's having liftoff problems. Kyrie Irving obviously leaving Cleveland, going to Boston. It hasn't been any better because LeBron James is not there, Big C. Even though he's a good player, they did not reach the championship round. LeBron still did. Paul George, give me your thoughts on him leaving Indiana and then going to OKC. That really maybe that's still up in the air. But Kawhi Leonard going from San Antonio up to Toronto, I can't say it's made them a better team because Toronto won a conference record, actually their own history record, I think 59 regular season games last year. That was a franchise record. Jimmy Butler's just to be seen. Big C, who's made the best choice by leaving for greener pastures, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, I'd have to go with Kawhi Leonard, Charlton. Of all those players, he's the only one that's been on a championship team.
Yeah.
But that championship team, as Kawhi saw, was disbanding. And it wasn't going to be the same organization. He goes to Toronto, a team, Charlton, that had won a franchise record 59 wins last year.
Yeah.
And they're on pace right now to eclipse that 59-win season, Charlton.
Yeah.
And when you look at the level that Kawhi Leonard is playing in Toronto, there was no pressure on him by going there.
Yeah.
You go to a solid organization that was already winning. There's no pressure on you.
Yeah.
All the other players, Charlton, were going somewhere trying to make an organization better.
Yeah.
Chris Paul helped make Houston better last year. They won a franchise best and won the West.
Yep.
So that was drastic improvement there. The things didn't work out in OKC as much for Paul George. Even though they made the playoffs, Charlton, they didn't have a stable lineup.
Yeah.
You look at Jimmy Butler leaving Minnesota because he had some young guys there, Charlton, that just was trying to develop their brand.
Yeah.
You look at Wiggins, a former number 1 overall draft pick. Carl Anthony Towns, a number 1 former overall draft pick in the NBA.
Yeah.
You got 2 of those egos on one roster, Charlton. It makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to Philadelphia and he got the same thing. Embiid was a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Simmons was a number 1 overall pick. But the difference between those two guys, Charlton, is that they coexisted with each other. Neither one of them was trying to be the face of the franchise. And the thing about it, neither one of them had to shoot all the time.
Yeah, yep.
So that's what makes this organization a better fit for Butler.
Well, Big C, I got to get your thoughts on tonight, because when you follow what Kawhi, remember Kawhi set out last year, and it's not like he made a bad choice, Le'Veon Bell, a.k.a. with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. Tonight, Dwayne Casey returned to Toronto, where he helped them win a franchise record 59 regular season wins, and he lost his job. That, to me, is just asinine. They return tonight with the Pistons. Detroit Pistons are 6-6 versus the Raptors that are 12-2. Now, people can say, well, look at Toronto. They're doing much better now that Casey's not there. No, they have to eclipse last year's franchise record 59 wins, but this is still primarily a team that Casey had put together, and you could put anyone different on the sideline, but they still have a lot of the same glue. And I do think Kawhi is a better player than what they had last year. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, the city of Toronto will embrace Casey. They had embraced him for his time there and getting them to the playoff runs that they had been in.
Yeah.
They just kept running into LeBron, which created a problem for everybody. Eastern team, Charlton.
Yep.
So, I mean, with Casey being fired, you could have fired every coach in the playoffs in the East.
Yeah.
For the past 4 years.
Yep.
Because LeBron, they'd had to go through LeBron.
Yeah.
But Casey was that minority coach, and it was easy to let him go, Charlton, to change the face of a franchise.
Yeah.
This should be a competitive game. I don't know if Detroit is on the level, of Toronto right now, and if Kawhi is Leonard playing in the game, Charlton, he'll make the difference in the game, and Toronto will come out on top.
Well, that's it. No matter what people say about Canada, I still don't understand why we don't have a team in the west coast of Canada. Vancouver was there, and they have a great arena, a beautiful city. When you look at how Toronto turns out to support NBA basketball, I don't know why you would not want that on the east coast of Canada, because that's a natural decision. It's a natural rivalry. Eastern Canada versus Western Canada, Toronto versus Vancouver, two world-class cities. But I think the NBA missed it by having the NBA take the Memphis Grizzlies out of Vancouver to go to the south. It's not as if they went to Miami or down to Atlanta. Those are marquee cities. Memphis is not the same class as some of the bigger cities in the United States, but I think Vancouver is one of the classier places on all the West Coast. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I mean, when you look at that northwestern part of the United States period, Seattle left,
Yep.
Vancouver left.
Yep.
These two teams, look at the cities that they went to.
Yeah.
Seattle went to Oklahoma City.
What in the world? Yeah. Go ahead, Big C. Is Putin back again? Sometimes you have those little gremlins, and I don't know if it's Putin, but Big C, we are going to check your phone lines. Can you hear me now, Big C, your thoughts?
I got you, Charlton.
Okay, Putin, stop. Okay, go ahead, Big C.
Well, you got to look at the backdrop in the two cities of Oklahoma City and Memphis.
Yeah.
In comparison geographically to Seattle and Vancouver, two of the most picturesque
Gorgeous
sceneries on the West Coast, Charlton. Major metropolitan areas, major ports. I mean, international cities. And you go to these places, and I'm not knocking those cities, Charlton, but just even from a media perspective.
Yeah.
What does those two markets offer over Vancouver and Seattle, Charlton?
Yes.
And you had a solid team in Seattle that's Oklahoma City now that have won an NBA title.
Yeah.
And so when you take these things away from cities, Charlton, and I think that Memphis should have had to leave the name of the Grizzlies behind just in case another team goes back to that area.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I dislike more than anything else.
Yeah.
Is that a professional team can take the name of an organization with them. It's like even when the Raiders leave Oakland and go to Las Vegas, they shouldn't be able to carry the name the Raiders. That name belongs to the city of Oakland.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of money that the city of Oakland invested in this organization, Charlton, bringing them back, keeping them funded, expanding a stadium, all of those things. Just like when the Rams went to St. Louis. They took the name the Rams with them, even though they've come back.
Yeah.
But I like what the city of Cleveland did. When that team left with Mordell, they said, no, the name belongs to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that name stayed. So when they got another Browns team, it's named the Browns, Charlton, and that former team became the Ravens. That's what all professional teams and leagues should do. If a team abandons that region, that city, that name stays behind. It's synonymous with that city, Charlton.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense, Big C. And money talks. Money's going to talk. It's just like the Dallas Cowboys, when they have money, so Jerry Jones can do what he want to do, and before we even think about the Raiders going again and leaving, I don't know if it's even clear that the Raiders will play in Oakland next year. I mean, there's so much anathema with the fan base in Oakland. I know that if you watch, they'll have a lot of sparse crowds at the Coliseum now. I think a lot of people are sobering up. It's like your spouse saying, I'm leaving you for another man. Well, go. I mean, let me help you pack. But don't sit there and keep supporting it. If you want to go, just go. But have you heard anything about the Raiders staying at the Coliseum one more year? I've heard more talk on Northern California radio stations in the Bay Area that maybe they may play even in San Antonio, Big C, for some reason next year. That make any sense to you?
Well, San Antonio wouldn't make any logistical sense, Charlton, going down there and playing. You wouldn't have a fan base. You're competing against the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
They're not going to want you to come down there and play, Charlton, with the eminent domain rules. You're going to have to find somewhere else to play if you're without a home.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, I mean, it comes down, if their lease is up, why would the city of Oakland want them there unless they're going to pay them to play there?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's still that's a topic coming when you think about it. I want to jump on the Raiders. They're 1-8, and they can basically guarantee a number 1 pick in this April's draft if they lose to 2-7 Arizona, the Cardinals, this weekend. Now, Big C, I know people say, well, you got to lose games, you got to throw a game so you can get number 1 draft picks. Gruden's already shown that he doesn't like number 1 draft picks anyway, Big C. I don't know why they want to lose. And to get a player to buy in that if you guys lose, the team will get a better chance at the number 1 draft pick. A lot of the players, if they buy into that garbage, they may not be there anyway, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, even with the number 1 draft pick in the draft, you got 3 number 1 picks overall. The last time the Raiders had the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Charlton, I think it was a kid named Jamarcus Russell out of LSU. A quarterback that looked like an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And probably looks even bigger than an offensive tackle today since he's been out of football so long.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to look at that. What is going to be the supporting cast for those 3 number 1 draft picks that the Raiders have in the chute to draft this coming season, Charlton?
Yeah.
In April in the draft. You know, you go out there and you say, okay, we got Derek Carr as a quarterback. What college quarterback is better than Derek Carr? I mean, you got to be realistic about it, regardless of the statistics and what they do as a record.
Yeah.
What college quarterback is better than Derek Carr? I mean, there's some guys that project very high, but they haven't played against NFL defensive backs every week, NFL linebackers every week, NFL linemen every week, Charlton. Sam Darnold projected. Everybody said he should have been the number 1 quarterback in the draft.
You didn't say it, neither did I. Yeah.
You know, they can say he had a hurt foot. We heard that with Peyton Manning last year.
Yeah.
That he had a hurt foot and he couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you find ways to correct your mistake. These guys coming out of college, Charlton, you might compete against 3 or 4 NFL players potentially each week that you play. Right. You know, on your opposing team.
Yeah.
But every week in the NFL, you compete against them, Charlton, every game.
Yeah.
You got 11 guys, NFL players on the other side of the football, regardless of whether you're the Raiders, you're the Bills, you're the Giants. There's still 11 NFL defensive players over there.
Yeah.
And so to say that a guy is going to just walk in and woo the league in his rookie year, Charlton, it doesn't happen. Even the quarterbacks that are having success this year, Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Charlton, they didn't get in. They sit back and learn the game, Charlton. It took them to their second year. Jared Goff, your boy Carson Wentz. It took them to their second year to develop, Charlton.
Yeah.
So, but they had veterans around them. John Gruden has proven he doesn't want any of those veterans around.
No.
So now you're bringing in a rookie quarterback that's going to be in a situation that's going to struggle for 3, 4, 5 years, Charlton.
So Big C, how can Gruden sell those wolf tickets that, hey, I'm going to get rid of all of our former first-round draft picks so I can get the first-round draft pick out of college? We heard them push Josh Allen, especially your friend, Mache and Kuiper and Mache, those 2 guys. And they
those guys you go fish with. We probably in the same bowling league, but we won't talk about them.
Right. But they're wrong. I mean, Google them. They're so wrong, but they keep getting paid. But they are white, so they're going to get the white skin privilege. They also try to push Darnold out of USC. He's played so poorly, they're benching him, saying he has a hurt foot. We both said he was not ready. And there was another kid, Baker Mayfield, this jury's still out on Baker Mayfield, But all of these guys they're retouting, look at Josh Rosen for the Arizona Cardinals out of UCLA. They were all flying their media pundits all around the country saying this guy is can't miss NFL talent. None of them have won more than 4 games, Big C, and none of them have gotten the same criticism that African-American quarterbacks have gotten for making it to the playoffs, a.k.a. Colin Kaepernick, and you also have Bridgewater, and they're having and even Prescott, Big C. There's so much maligned for winning when the Great White Hype. They're not maligned, they're just told, they're injured. That's why they're not performing, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, if you think about the first 4 quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft this past offseason, we're 9 games into the season.
Yep.
They won 9 games between those 4 quarterbacks, Charlton.
What a bargain.
9 games.
Yeah.
And your buddies McShay and Kuiper said these are franchise once-in-a-lifetime quarterbacks.
They did.
Once-in-a-lifetime quarterbacks that you could not pass on.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody maligned the New York Giants for not taking one of those quarterbacks, Sam Darnold or anybody else,
Rosen,
and taking Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Who's having a better year, Saquon Barkley or those quarterbacks?
Yep.
I mean, he's on a losing team also, but when you look at Saquon Barkley, at least you know you have a finished product.
Yeah.
The Giants hit a home run with him. The quarterback scenario with the Giants, even if they had a draft of the quarterback, Charlton, he wasn't going to unseat Eli Manning just because of the ownership. When Eli Manning was benched last year, there was a total outcry from the state and the city of New York, owners, everybody.
Yeah.
How can you bench Eli Manning? He won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why we benched Eli Manning because he hadn't won but 3 games in the last 2 years. Okay, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
So but this year they will draft the guy, Charlton.
Yeah.
But what they did was they got someone to help that quarterback they drafted in Saquon Barkley, along with the receiving core. When you look at those other quarterbacks, Charlton, that were drafted, who are their primary receivers?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield may have the best cast of receivers in Cleveland, but Darnold has no receivers that you know.
Yeah.
Rosen has no receivers that you know. They cut all the receivers in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So all of these quarterbacks will struggle for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and we were talking, and that's why I want people to Google, because when Big C Sports is talking, we don't have a $1 million studio. We don't have someone that 14 people, 15 people running analytics. It just Big C uses his Bible and his shine, and he comes clairvoyant, and all I do is pitch in the ball and he hits it out of the park. Big C, which 4-win NFL teams has the best chance of making the playoffs this year? The Green Bay Packers, or Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, the Atlanta Falcons, or the Seattle Seahawks? I think these are all teams that have players at the quarterback position. We know that Wilson's been to the Super Bowl, Ryan's been to the Super Bowl, and then, Rodgers has been there. Wentz didn't go, even though the Eagles went, and Prescott hasn't gone. But which 4-win team do you feel has the best chance at even making it to the playoffs as a wild card? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, there's 2 of them that have a great potential of making it. I like Seattle. Seattle has played well offensively the past couple of games.
Yeah.
Their defense has let them down. I mean, they were in the game, against the Rams last week, Charlton. Just too much pressure from those defensive tackles in Los Angeles. A big game this week, Charlton, that will eliminate one of these teams is Atlanta and Dallas.
Yeah.
The loser of that game is gone. I like what Atlanta can do offensively, but they struggled so much last week against Cleveland, where they could not stop the running game. So if the Dallas Cowboys want to copy that formula of what Cleveland utilized last week, the running game, Charlton, with Ezekiel Elliott, who had a tremendous game last Sunday night, and used the short, quick passes, they can get up on Atlanta. But I like Seattle making the playoffs.
You like Seattle. I'm going to ask you a dumb question. It won't be the first time. Is Aaron Rodgers, I know he signed the biggest deal for an NFL quarterback, $180 million. If after giving him that money, they fail to even make a wild card, do they talk about moving him and just eating it? Because they've gotten rid of Montgomery, they got rid of Jordy Nelson. Now, at some point in time, you got to say, we got rid of a lot of guys that can help us win, and now they can't win because they put all the money in his pocket, just like with Garoppolo in San Francisco. What a shame. That's great. The 49ers, when they went out and got Deion Sanders back in the day, they knew they had to compete with the Cowboys. They knew Michael Irvin was a tough cover for the secondary. They restructured some contracts that DeBartolo did with the 49ers and some of their players. They brought in Deion Sanders, and he was able to cover Michael Irvin. In fact, he was holding Michael Irvin on that long pass down the left sideline that would have been a touchdown, but it was not called pass interference, and he was holding Irvin. Everybody knows that, but he got away with it because of his reputation. But the 49ers, some guys gave up some money to bring him in. Why doesn't Garoppolo do the same thing with the organization? Big C, that wasn't that long ago, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Chauncey, you also got to look at the state of the franchise at that point. It was a winning franchise. Right now, you have a fledgling franchise when you look at the 49ers.
Yeah.
Garoppolo is not going to change his tune because it's a different mindset of player today, Chauncey, than what it was when I was in the league. I mean, players back then were about winning. Now, because of social media, players are about getting mine. I mean, it's a very short window. It always is.
Yeah.
But when you look at the DeBartolo stuff, they took care of all the players on the roster.
They did.
If they made a promise to the players and they took care of the players, Charlton, it was more of a family atmosphere than what it is now. Everybody now goes their own way.
Yeah.
Players back in the day, Charlton, used to get together and have some pizza, some fried chicken, and some beer after practice. They would do that. But now, everybody's running to the parking lot to get in their luxury vehicle and head their own direction.
Yeah.
You don't have the social structure in professional teams, Charlton, that you had 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yep.
That the players were a family and they hung out. Now everybody has the group that they want to be with.
Yeah.
And it's social dysfunction even within teams. You know, you got the single guys hanging out with the single guys.
Yeah.
The married guys can't go nowhere. Back in the day, we all, regardless, you know, you call your wife. We didn't have a cell phone, so, you know, you didn't
Page me on my beeper, right?
But, you know, we didn't have beepers. You know, use the payphone. Call home.
Yep.
You know, everybody knew where everybody was, but at least you could have that camaraderie, which was much different.
Yeah.
And if a team was losing, Charlton, you could sit down and figure it out as a group. Beyond the facility where you worked, you can get out and socially talk about it, Charlton, and maybe work through some problems that you had as an organization.
You know, this is the same organization, though. They wanted Kaepernick to take $4 million, and he's one of 3 quarterbacks that have taken him to the Super Bowl. They wanted him to take $4 million as opposed to $12 million to stay with the 49ers that had no offensive line and no support. But then they give a guy in Garoppolo that has not won more games for that organization than Kaepernick, $37 million guaranteed and $137 million. Why would they give Garoppolo, who hasn't won anything, an extra $33 million more than Cap, who took him to the Super Bowl? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you got to look at who's running the organization now. John Lynch. You know, you think you took a product from another team, and all of a sudden you hit Pandora's box in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you look at Kyle Shanahan, when he started off as an offensive coordinator in the NFL, he was in Washington, okay? He had RG3 as a quarterback.
Yeah.
RG3 blew out his knee, Charlton, you know, with the same coach, Shanahan.
Yeah.
In his second year, he blew out his knee, Charlton. His career was basically dismal after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What has happened to Garoppolo? Same type of knee injury, Charlton, blown out his knee. In that same system.
Yeah.
We will see if Kyle Shanahan can retool Jimmy Garoppolo because he couldn't retool RG3.
Yeah.
You know, can he make him a different quarterback than what he wanted him to be?
Yeah.
But, you know, here it is as we talk about players now, Charlton. He sat in New England for years, Charlton.
Yeah.
Behind Brady. He saw how Brady took less to make the team better. He said he wasn't Tom Brady. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the best that he could be financially, and he's there. He's going to make his money.
Yeah.
Now the onus is on management. What do we do to make the team better when we don't have the cap space to bring in big-time free agents?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me, but I understand the Big C. So which hot teams right now in the NFL, which streak will come to an end this weekend? The Saints, 8 straight. The Texans, 6 straight. Chargers have won 6 straight. The Steelers, to Terry Bradshaw's dismay, have won 5 straight. The Chiefs 4 straight, and the Colts 3 straight. Has Bradshaw been out lately saying that Tomlin's not a good coach? He's probably the second best winningest coach of active coaches right now in the NFL. I even say he's better than Andy Reid. He has a Super Bowl. Andy Reid does not. And when you look at and this is what I really want to praise Tomlin for. As an African-American coach, They're always last hired, first fired, and they need the Rooney Rule for some reason. And guys like John Gruden don't and can't win a thing. Just Google his all-time record without Tony Dungy's players. Here's a guy in Tomlin that lost arguably the best running back in the AFC in Le'Veon Bell. And they're still going to win the division. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he's a solid coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, when you think about how Tomlin has developed players since he's been the head coach of the Steelers, you just go back and you look at the skill positions. Who's developed more wide receivers than the Pittsburgh Steelers since Tomlin has been the head coach, Charlton? I mean, just had a blanket of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Look at the running back position that he's developed.
Yeah.
Even prior to Bell, he had the bus, he had Mendenhall, Charlton, and now with Connor.
Yeah.
So he's developed a stable, solid offensive line. The defense is getting back to steel curtain lore.
Yeah.
So when you talk about a coach, and I loved his demeanor all year long, Charlton,
yeah,
in dealing with the Bell scenario. Everybody wanted to question him about Bell. He said, look, I'm coaching the players I have.
That's here, yeah.
I'll talk about Le'Veon Bell if he comes through the door.
Yeah.
Okay, if he doesn't, no big deal.
Yeah.
He said, I got a job to coach the players that are here. It's your job in the media to figure the rest of it out.
Yeah.
And because he's not a wuss, as they say in the world of sports. He's a grown man, and he will stand by himself.
Yeah.
The media has a hard time with that. Bill Belichick won't say 3 words to him. You hear people talking in church more than what Bill Belichick will do to somebody.
Yeah,
but Mike Thomas stands his ground.
Yeah.
He's stern about his answers. And people want to call him uppity.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw want to say he's not a good coach. Look at what he has to go through.
Yeah.
Find me 5 coaches in the NFL better than Mike Tomlin, Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, you can't, Big C. I remember that when I was a young boy, there was a guy that used to sell motor homes, and he said, I'm Blankety Blank, and I will stand on my head to make you a deal. Well, sometimes you got to stand on your head when Bradshaw says that the guy with the second win in his active record. Yeah, I think that's crazy. When we look at a few other things in the world of the sports universe, Major League Baseball making history, Mets pitcher Jacob deGrom wins National League Cy Young Award. And I tell you, I love the name as well as his pitching game. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think about deGrom winning the Cy Young. He is the first pitcher in Major League history to win the Cy Young, Charlton, and being just over 500. He only won 10 games on the season, Charlton. Never before in Major League history has a pitcher won the Cy Young winning only 10 games. He was 10-9 on the season. But he got no support from his pitching staff, Charlton. He led the major leagues in earned run average.
Yep.
He was a dominant pitcher. He led them in strikeouts. He just had no bats in the Mets lineup. So, to be able to make history in that way, and you receive all but 4 first-place votes, Charlton.
Incredible.
That just shows the dominance of Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, I really think he has a bright future. Brian Snedeker was voted National League Manager of the Year. Do you agree with that, Big C? Your thoughts?
I do, Charlton. When you look at the National League, look at what Snedeker did. He took a team that had nobody. You talk about a payroll that was equal to the A's. They were the A's of the East Coast, Charlton.
Yeah.
When you look at Atlanta, they didn't have any all-stars in that lineup. No power. Their home run leader, Charlton, had 23.
Yeah.
So they had to manufacture runs, Charlton. You have to learn how to utilize your bullpen. Brian Snedeker did a tremendous job of that in Atlanta, Charlton, getting them to the playoffs at least before being eliminated by the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's a worthy choice.
Well, and they have a young team, too, Atlanta, the Braves. They tend to – where do they get the money in this? I know Buford T. Justice is always working overtime, but how do they get so much money? They got a new football stadium. The old one wasn't that old. They got a new baseball stadium. The old one wasn't that old. It was built for the Olympics. They have a new basketball arena. The old one was not that old. Where is all this money coming in from the South? Is that why Trump wants to build a wall? Because white guys are building arenas. We can't count where the money comes from.
Well, that's the voter obstruction when you don't allow them to vote on these things. Politicians can make the money. I mean, you think about that when you talk about that city, Charlton.
Yeah.
They just built the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and I think the Georgia Dome was opened in the early 90s.
Yeah, it was.
So wasn't that old? The Turner Field opened up for the Olympics in 96.
Yeah.
So it was relatively new, and they just redid the basketball arena where the Hawks play.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of money in that region when you look at it down south.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're getting it from somewhere, and you think about the Raiders can't get a stadium, in Oakland. The 49ers couldn't get a stadium in San Francisco.
Right.
The Rams finally got a new stadium, out by the Forum.
In the Chargers.
So when you look at the West Coast
the Chargers
versus the Southern progression getting stadium stuff, there's no comparison.
Is that what they call
it? They can't even get an arena up in Seattle. the Sonics in the league.
Is that why they call it the Dirty South? Because the Dirty South because of the money you thought, Big C?
I think the laundry business is really big. You can find laundromats all over the place.
All over.
The money's clean, by the time you watch it.
By the time you watch it. Vivian Stringer, head coach of the Rutgers Lady Scarlet Knights, became the 6th coach to reach the 1,000 win plateau in college basketball. Others are Pat Summitt, the late Pat Summitt, Tar Vanderbilt out of Stafford, Gino Auriemma at UConn, Sophia Hatchell, North Carolina, Barbara Stevens in Division II of Bentley, and the only other men's coach is Mike Krzyzewski, and they have a commercial on the mothership, and it says, earn it, like earn the money, earn it, and if he's talking to his players, they can't get paid legally. Big C, your thoughts?
I think that Mike Krzyzewski down there in Charleston.
We call him
Krzyzewski. Think about Vivian Stevens, Charleston, and accomplishing this 100-win plateau.
Yeah.
At the University of Rutgers. We've talked about the football program there, how it has struggled, Charleston, in competing in the Big Ten. But Vivian Stevens, Charleston, to be able to accomplish this as an African-American woman.
Amazing.
To reach that pinnacle of 1,000 victories. And you got to think about all of what she's had to work through, Charlton, in her professional career. She lost her husband back in 1992, Charlton, and that puts a strain on anybody's life.
Yeah.
Her daughter ended up with spinal bifida, Charlton, and so she requires 24-hour care. Not only that, Charlton, as we sit around and see the NFL celebrate Cancer Awareness Month, she's had to deal with breast cancer, Charlton.
Yeah.
So she's had every physical and mental challenge that a woman could go through, Charlton. And you talk about the stress of women in the life of people, Charlton. She is a beacon of strength.
Yeah.
Not only to deal with these personal strife, Charlton, but to take these young women that she's had at the University of Rutgers and make them quality citizens in the U.S.
Yeah.
She's done a tremendous job, Charlton. And also reach that 1,000-win plateau, Charlton. She's reached it in a way that nobody else could ever done it.
Yeah, really proud of her and what she's done, Big C. As we close out tonight in the NBA Big C's games that you're paying attention to, Philadelphia at Orlando, Cleveland at Washington, Chicago at Boston, Miami at Brooklyn. You have Detroit at Toronto, which might be the game of the night as far as interest. Memphis at Milwaukee, New Orleans at Minnesota. You have New York at Oklahoma City. Utah is at Dallas, San Antonio is at Phoenix, and Portland is at Los Angeles. Big C, we wish everybody success in the world of sports. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, would anybody ever thought in the NBA this season it'd be a battle for supremacy in the NBA West in Los Angeles?
Wow.
Between the Clippers and the Lakers? The Clippers are 8-5 over the season, Charlton. One game better than the Lakers at this point. And nobody's even talking about them, Charlton, in the West.
Yep, and I tell you what, it's all fair in love and war. No matter what you're doing in California, keep your hope, keep your prayers, and hopefully we'll get some rain sometime soon. Speaking of making it rain, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, as we always tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.